Hello and welcome to the Sunday League Pundit Show, episode 39. You have myself, Stretch, my good friend on camera, Jim Jam, and my good friend off camera, Tin Rips. How are we, boys?
Great stuff.
Not too bad.
Good. They're looking...
Missing football, though. It's been weird with no
already
football
missing
for
football
a week.
because there's just been nothing on. It's been kind of strange, hasn't
There's
it,
been
really?
some friendlies.
Yeah.
So, a couple of friendlies are kicking in now.
Couple of friendlies,
It's
yeah.
not too bad.
No.
It's not too bad. Do we have a Jim Jam the Statman stat to start with?
Yeah, so I had one, and then I liked another one, so I'll quickly go through my first one, because I liked the second one better. So, there were 11 teams out of 72 EFL teams that managed to get 20-plus points from losing positions. So, Peterborough Crew, MK Dons, Walsall, Norwich and Coventry were under 25, and 25 points won were Leeds, Portsmouth and Charlton. Barnsley got 29 from losing positions, and the most was Ipswich with 32 points from losing positions.
Damn.
That's probably why they're in the
That's why
Premier
they
League.
got promoted.
That's why they got promoted, because they did what they did from behind.
Just
You're
refusing
going to have to get
lose.
used to going behind in the Premier League, I imagine. So
Yeah. And then I saw another one, so it was the EFL sides that have scored the most Premier League goals. So I've got the top 5. So
EFL, so teams that are in the EFL now
yeah,
that have scored more goals in the Premier League.
that have the most
Norwich
goals
have
in
got
the
to be
Premier
up there
League.
just for the amount of times
Blackburn.
they've bounced up and down. Blackburn
Blackburn
during
have got
the
to be
90s,
up
that's
there.
a good shout.
Blackburn
they
are
scored a lot.
number 1
Yeah.
Blackburn, yeah. 'cause
with
of the 90s.
927 Premier League
Norwich
goals.
have got to be up there. The amount they've
Norwich are
bounced.
not on the list.
As if, how many times have they been? Premier League as well?
510 is the lowest team in the top 5, and they're a yo-yo club back in the back a while. They haven't been there for a few years now.
I was about to say Sheffield United. Hull?
Southampton would have been a shout, wouldn't it?
Hull aren't on
I
there.
bet Hull are not on there.
We were there
I'll
for
go
a while,
with
so
it,
Leeds
so-
have got to be in there.
Leeds are second with 793.
Because we were there for a while.
Then we've got 2 teams from the North East in 3rd and 4th.
Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
With 648.
Sunderland.
Sunderland with 612. Then Sam Allardyce,
Bolton.
Bolton 575, and then we've got the Baggies.
I would
Who
never
was
have
sixth?
guessed West Brom in a million years, I'll be honest.
I wasn't aware of that,
510. West Brom was 6th
Would
on the
never have guessed
list.
West Brom in a million years. That's a good start.
I like that one. Bit for Darryl as well. Though he misses them goals a lot.
Yeah. It's not like he's trying to kick you while you're down or anything, Darryl, but
But we'll say their
Yeah.
away shirt is nice this year as well. They've even done the, that you said about the home shirt being champions winning
Yeah.
season.
So
The
their away
away
kit.
shirt's the same.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they've got 2 good kits this year.
at least they've got 2 good kits.
Daryl hates their third kit. Have you seen the third kit?
No, I haven't seen the 3rd kit.
We'll have to get a picture of the third
So-
kit.
Pink.
I'd like that.
Some pink kits are all right, though.
I
That's
don't
the
mind it. He hates it.
Some pink kits are all right. Right, I think what we'll do is I'll stick a couple of pictures up of the kits. If you find them, Tin Ribs, screenshot them, send them through to me. I'll add them on, and it seems like a good point to play the music. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us for episode 39 of Sunday League Pundit Show. So, boys, the Euros is over.
Euros
Southgate's reign is finished.
Finally.
Finally.
6 years too late.
Definitely 6 years too late. Maybe 8. But there we go. It's done. It's dusted. And I have seen a lot of talk online about who people want as the next manager.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I have heard somebody said the other day that Klopp was mentioned, and somebody turned round, including me. This would have been me with the loudest voice possible, saying the England manager should be English.
Yeah.
To which they were called xenophobic. I'm sorry, but if you have to be English to play for England, is that xenophobic? Because if not, then you should have to be English to manage England. I know we've had foreign managers in the past, but that doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
So if you now are going to go down the route of you can't say Klopp is not allowed to manage England because he's German, because that's xenophobic. Well, now we could turn around and say, well, Fabregas could have played for England just because it's xenophobic to say that he can't. Or Haaland should now be able to play for England just because it's xenophobic to turn around and say that he can only play for Norway. It's ridiculous. It's the most stupid argument I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You should be English to have anything to do with England. End of story.
I think it'd be very tough to take a German manager, especially.
Well, everyone's going, oh, it should be Klopp or it should be Pep.
Why?
And I'm like, well, okay. Klopp, you've got the perpetual second place man. We've just got rid of one of them.
Yeah.
So we don't really want another perpetual second place man.
It'd be our worst nightmare. It'd be so hard to defend him. I mean, we'd be seeing the return of Henderson as England captain.
Would anybody defend Klopp if he got it wrong, other than Liverpool fans?
I'm going to word it like this. We had this debate at work the other day, and I pointed out why the likes of Klopp, Guardiola are not the right people. Now,
can I guess at what your answer was?
Oh, go on.
When you manage England, this is why I think Sam Allardyce would have been perfect. When you manage England, you've got this pot to pick from.
Yep. Exactly where I was going.
When you are Klopp or Pep, you have this big pot of cash, and you can pick your place from anywhere on the planet.
And this is where I come from. And someone said to me, oh, yeah, but Pep's one of the best coaches in the world.
Yes, with the best players in the world.
But I want to point out that he took, at the time, the number one England goalkeeper, the Premier League winner, Golden Glove winner, and went, can't coach you, I need to spend 19 million on another goalkeeper.
Which, by the way, didn't work, and he had to get another goalkeeper.
Yeah, but my point is, and this is actually Pep's words, when he was on about Bielsa, how good is Bielsa? He said, if I had the Leeds side that Bielsa had in the first season of the Premier League, I would probably just survive relegation. Bielsa would have won the league with my Man City team. Now, everyone bangs on about how good he is as a coach. He's a decent coach. But he has to spend the money.
He's a good coach for players that he chooses.
Correct. He chooses people that fit his style, and then he moulds them to his style. Yep. But he will pick players before that suit his style. Then he'll mould them.
Yep.
England don't have that chance. So then my choice is Eddie Howe. Look at what he did at Bournemouth. He hadn't got a pot to piss in. He took a team of...
Right, okay, so I've got two. My first choice would be Eddie Howe.
My first choice is Eddie Howe.
I think it's a lot.
All three of us are the same. So if Eddie Howe, because there is a chance, said, I'm not ready, I'm a bit too young, I want to stay at Newcastle just for a little bit, who would your second choice be? Because I already know instantly who I'd go for second.
Well, on availability, Graham Potter's not a bad shout.
Graham Potter?
Don't really have a second outright second
Sean Dyche.
choice.
I will slap you.
I would love to see Sean Dyche in charge of the England squad.
I would hate to see him as England.
Why do you want another defensive manager?
Because I don't think he would be with England. He had no choice with Burnley but to be defensive.
Yeah, but he's still doing it at Everton.
He's shit. Yeah,
but look at the fucking team he had at Everton. They were garbage.
He's got a better attack at Everton than he ever had at Burnley, and he still doesn't attack.
You're wrong there.
I would like Sean Dyche if Eddie Howe doesn't get it.
Honestly, if Eddie Howe is not ready for the job, I just want to put in an interim manager.
Well, I think they're going to look at Lee Carsley, aren't they, as interim because he's currently in charge of the 21s.
Yeah. Let's take a guy with no experience.
Again, because that works out really well the last time.
I think you might as well wait because qualifying, to be fair, anybody that goes in is probably going to get us qualified.
The players could get them through the qualifying on their own.
Well,
it's the Nations League next, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the Nations League, but we're in the second. We're in like the second tier of it because we got relegated.
Yeah, we got battered under Southgate.
So there is no.
There was one person on the radio I was listening to because they were sort of asking this question, and when he said it, this guy comes on. He's a Man United fan. He give his idea for it, and at first I thought, not really. But then he sort of like, when Talk Sport were talking him down, said, oh, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. I was sort of like, he's actually done more than fucking Southgate did, so why not? Michael Carrick. I actually, having thought about it, I don't think he's a bad shout.
I think for me, Michael Carrick is another Southgate. Completely untested, really.
They both managed Middlesbrough.
Both managed Middlesbrough, albeit Carrick was slightly more successful than Southgate at Middlesbrough.
They play nice football. I'm not going to lie. They
did play all right. They did play all right. There's a lot of talk as well about Lampard, Rooney and Gerrard, isn't there? Now, Lampard, I don't really understand where that chat comes from, other than the fact that he's English and he's got like 90 caps or 102 caps or whatever it was that Lampard's got. I know he's got a hell of a lot of caps. I mean, he was a hell of a footballer, let's be honest. It's like Rooney. Nobody can look at me and say, oh, Rooney was a shit footballer. Rooney was an unbelievable footballer. But he hasn't exactly pulled up roots as a manager. I just don't know how or where Rooney would fit in as an England manager. And Gerrard, I mean, I think he would be all right in the Nations League as managing England, because he did all right in Scotland managing Rangers, and it's about the same with the level that we're at the Nations League now. We're roughly at a Scotland level.
Sorry, I was about to agree with you when you said Nations League, because I was thinking of the National League.
Well, we might as well be. We got relegated under Southgate.
I'm just referring to Gerrard's level as a manager.
He did all right in Scotland, so he might do all right in the Nations League. Now, when you bring Gerrard into hoping to manage us in a World Cup, that's not exactly a Scotland League, is it? So I'm just not sure about that one.
See, I just want Eddie Howe going in, because when you're talking English...
I think everybody does.
Now, if you've got to go into him and you're just putting somebody else in charge, there's no real danger going into the Nations League. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, really. It's not really anything
our
major.
qualification for the World Cup doesn't rely on it.
No. And we're probably going to qualify, like you say, whoever's in. So if Eddie Howe wants to stay at Newcastle for a year, maybe he does have an interim team in place. Maybe it's a team that's in there. Maybe you go for, like, a John Terry perhaps doing the defensive side of it, and maybe you stick Lampard with him, who's controlling more attacking, and maybe you've got Wayne Rooney going into there as kind of a coaching team that he's got, where you've got an England base.
I think the defensive side of the training's been dealt with for at least the next 10 years, I'll be honest, because that's all they've done in it. Defensive coaching.
And you wait the 12 months for Eddie Howe, because I think that the FA can't pay Newcastle off, because his wage will be too high.
Yeah, I think...
Because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to money.
Of course it does.
And Eddie Howe's going to be on a good wage at Newcastle now.
Oh, yeah.
Because as soon as he got them the Champions League, he signed a new contract.
Yeah, and he's done
he's
well
on a long term,
well as
and he's on a long contract as well.
Didn't they say that Southgate was the highest paid manager in football or something stupid?
Highest paid international.
Oh, international. Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going to be out of pocket.
Well, Southgate was on $5 million a year, so if he's anywhere near that, you can't exactly look at that.
It's paying Newcastle compensation, isn't it? It's like, how much compensation is it?
I'm going to say one thing. Now, this might be a bit... I don't know. I don't care. Would Newcastle really miss him?
Who would they replace him with?
There's plenty of people out there that they've got the money to go and get.
There's plenty of people that've got the money to go and get, but who would they replace him with?
Don't know.
Because the one thing I'll say about Newcastle... Now, I'm not a Newcastle fan in any way, shape or form. I've got no affinity with Newcastle whatsoever. But their fan base are pretty vehement, and they're pretty strong-willed, and they're pretty loud. So if you don't get somebody that their fans agree with, they make it known pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I think that they like Eddie Howe. So if Eddie Howe was to be poached, I think Newcastle would demand the manager they wanted, and if they didn't get him, I think there'd be uproar up there. And I think
that's what I mean. Do you give Newcastle the time to find the replacement? And that's why I say just sticking any manager on an interim basis. What's the worst that could happen?
Well, you lose in the Nations League, but we've already done that.
Yeah.
And we did that under Southgate and kept him in charge. We then got beat by Iceland, which was enough for Roy Hodgson to lose his position, but for some reason Southgate kept his.
Now, the one thing I did hear coming in, that whoever takes over as England manager is definitely inheriting a better team
than we've ever
had. Because
Definitely.
obviously Southgate took over once we lost to Iceland.
Yes.
And the nation was proper down.
I think
You can't say that
Southgate.
Southgate hasn't worsened the team. He's just not lived up to the expectation or what he should have done. He's not disgraced himself because he's got to a semi-final and 2 finals, and you can't argue with that. 10 years ago we'd have bit somebody's hand off.
Yeah, but 10 years ago, if we'd have faced the run-in that we face now, we'd have won it.
Yeah.
15 years ago, if we'd have faced the run-in that we'd got, we'd have won it. Yeah, I mean, you're not telling me that Gerrard, Scholes, Rooney would have been beaten by Croatia in a semi-final.
Absolutely not.
That was something that people forget. They're always on about, oh, well, we've done better than the golden generation.
Up against Ronaldinho.
I was about to say.
R9.
Yeah.
Or,
it's like
or fucking Roberto
Rivaldo.
Carlos at the
It was
back.
Rivaldo,
We did so
Ronaldo,
well.
and Ronaldinho.
We came close, didn't we, in them games? Like Brazil, it took a special lob, didn't
Right.
it, over
You
the
You mean a
seaman.
fluky lob?
When we play France, who are you looking at? Who are you looking at in that French team going, could be a trouble, could be a problem? You're looking at, if he's on form, you're looking at Mbappe. And that's if he is on form like he was in the final.
I'd
'Cause
be
he did run
concerned
the final
about
quite well.
Kante in the middle.
Okay, you've got Kante in the middle. Who else?
I quite like that Theo of Hernandez going down
He's not bad.
the left-hand
There's
side.
3. Now let's go back to that generation that's got Trezeguet, Henry, Vieira, Petit. Come on. There's not even a competition. It's not even close. If you give me that France team and this France team, maybe Hernandez would get into the old team. Nobody else would get into it. Possibly Donnarumma. Not Tom, bloody idiot.
That's Italy.
Yeah, my mind just went then.
Mania.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Possibly the keeper.
He's well decent.
But that's it.
I mean, you can't
Nobody
say that
else would get-
Barthez was a bad keeper.
It was bloody good goalkeeper. But he was
Made
a bit like
moments.
Grobbelaar, wasn't he? He had his moments where, like,
He
Grobbelaar
had
was a
something.
class keeper. But god damn, he had some moments where he just turned into prime David Raya. So I don't think I would trust him completely. But you're comparing today's footballers against yesterday's footballers, and yesterday's footballers were on a different planet.
Well, it's like-
even a
This
different
Spain
level.
team aren't the best Spain team. They were best team in the tournament. But
It's not saying a lot, is
but
it?
are you saying that this Spain team are the greatest Spain team
Well,
that's ever been?
Would they
even
beat
said,
that
didn't
France
they?
team?
Well, no.
Would this Spain team beat that France team?
No. But they were
Or
saying...
the Spain team that won the World Cup?
Yeah, but that's what they were saying, wasn't it? When they were on about
Yeah.
the Spanish team, they were saying it's not quite the one with Xavi, Iniesta, David Villa.
What a team that was.
Do you know,
Torres.
but it's like,
He was wildly underrated, by the way, David Villa.
David Villa, amazing striker.
Wildly
Yeah.
underrated, that guy was.
But this is what the argument was. They're saying our golden generation weren't that good because they couldn't get past the quarterfinal. We ran into the platinum generation, fucking Brazil.
Yeah.
It just seems that lately, a lot of countries are finding. At the end of the day, everyone has their dips. But it's like they were on about, Slovakia. You got to look how they beat Belgium and blah blah blah. And it's like, hang on a minute. 2 years ago, all you pundits are now defending them, trying to say that England had to beat someone because they beat Belgium. 2 years ago, you wrote fucking Belgium off as a done thing. Their era's over.
Yeah.
This is it. That's the end for them now. But now all of a sudden, because it bloats Southgate's record a little bit, they were fucking great. No, because 2 years ago, you were saying they were done.
No, I agree.
That was
completely.
Belgium's. That was the best chance Belgium had of winning anything. That was their golden era. They've lost it. Blah blah blah. But now, because someone has beat them, and then England struggled against them. Yeah, they beat Belgium. Great team.
Yeah. So
The only reason they're qualifying for the tournaments is because they've extended the number of teams that were going into this one. All the Nations League winners are getting their playoff chances now, which is why the likes of Georgia have managed to sneak in, even though they finished like fourth bottom of the group.
Yep.
Well, second bottom of the group, as it should be. Yeah, they did well when they were there, but on the actual qualification purposes, they didn't do well.
And they're not a great side.
But this is what I was about to get to. Where you look back on these Spain, Brazil, that England had to face, and we're saying, oh, this France team was amazing when they beat Brazil. And then you've got and then like the Italy teams and all that. But that was all their point. And now a lot of them have dropped off. Germany are just starting to pull something together. Spain look like they're about to pull something together. The Spanish team at the moment looks like in the next tournament they actually could be a real force.
I think Spain are favourites for the World Cup.
I think there's a few South American teams that may argue with that. Uruguay are looking dangerous. Brazil are starting to pull something together. But a lot of these countries that have had their moment dropped off. Some of them are coming back now. And it's just cycles. It's just waiting on those cycles. But at the moment, I think we are... It's like when everyone was saying we're losing the Messi and the Ronaldo era. And we are. There isn't the level of player we used to have. I don't know whether it's that the level of football's rised, so becoming a standout performer's harder, or it's a case of we're just not getting as
I think the level
players.
of expectation has dropped.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the prime example now has got to be the Premier League. It's got to be the Premier League. Because, like, expectation years ago was... I used to look at the fixtures in the 90s. And I would look at United. And I would look at Liverpool. And I would look at Chelsea. And I would look at Tottenham. And I think these are all going to be tough games. All going to be tough games. And then you look at the likes of Bolton, and you think, fuck, we always struggle against Bolton because they're such a tough Sam Allardyce, free-flowing. Like when he had got Djorkaeff and what's his fucking name?
JJ Okocha.
JJ Okocha.
Yeah.
They were such a good team. And you're looking at all these teams going, God, they're really good. What are you thinking now? What are you thinking now? Right off City, anyone else we've got a chance against? You don't look at anybody in that Premier League and go, they're going to be really tough. I literally am looking at the league going, should win that, 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 should win that. City going to be tough. Should win, should win, should win, should win, should win, should win, should win. We won't because life doesn't work like that.
No.
But I look at that fixtures and think we should beat all of them.
It's
Bar
like
City.
you used to look at it and go, oh, going Old Trafford, that's a write-off.
That's a tough game. Going to Anfield, that's a real tough game.
Going
now
to
I look at
Highbury, that's a tough game. You
Now
know?
I look at it now and I'm like, we go to Anfield now. Salah's gone. Since his hamstring injury, he has not been the same player.
Yeah.
So he's gone. Alisson basically said that if Klopp goes, he's not really interested anymore. So I don't think Alisson's going to be the keeper
Edison.
he was. Alisson.
Oh,
Alisson.
sorry,
back
yeah,
Liverpool.
yeah.
I actually got one right for a change.
Sorry, I was thinking. I don't know,
They
I was
say
thinking
that
Pep.
Trent's
because I was
going to
talking
go.
about City before.
Trent's going to go Real Madrid potentially.
That I think is a shocking transfer, to be honest.
Is it?
I mean, I suppose Real Madrid don't do that much defending, so it might work out quite well for Trent. But the more defending he's called on to do, the worse he looks.
I don't know. We never got to see it.
Well, that's true. But he was pretty awful during the Euros when they moved him into midfield. Anyway, that was for damn sure.
Mhm.
It just didn't work.
It didn't. It did not work at all. But then again, he then relied on Mainu. Now, I'm not saying Mainu's a bad player, but when you've got a guy that's played probably 20 games in the Premier League in his life, and you're dumping him into the middle of a Euros and saying you're our main man now, it's always going to be a bit.
Did you see all the stats about him every time that he got took off? England went and scored or won the game and stuff. So when Mainu wasn't on the pitch,
That's because he was putting somebody like Palmer on that was actually
Yeah.
doing something useful.
it was
I mean,
just a weird stats and like.
For me, where England are concerned, Kane is finished or should be.
Bit like Shearer said when he retired. Shearer was still at the top of his game in the Premier League,
Yeah,
banging in goals.
For me,
But he
Kane's
retired
finished.
because he couldn't do it in international level.
Mm.
And Kane's got to look at himself going,
He's getting on a bit now. And when he's playing 40 odd games for his, or 50 games or whatever it is for
he
his
can't
club,
do it.
you can't then go into the summer in the boiling hot weather and do it again, because he struggled.
It depends how long he wants to play club football for, because if he carries on with international, his club football's going to be limited as well.
He's no Ronaldo, is he? He's clearly not putting in the same work that Ronaldo's putting in to stay fit. I mean,
no, not at all.
I don't think there's anyone on the planet putting as much effort as Ronaldo.
I can't
to stay fit,
imagine
to be fair.
Kane playing past 36.
I'll be surprised if he gets there. He will have to drop down levels for me if he wants to stay playing at 36.
You know,
I think you're talking another year or two, and his days are numbered. I don't think he'll look very good top level by the time the World Cup comes around.
no.
I just don't think he'll have it in him.
And
by
this
then
is where we need...
We've wasted so many friendlies where we could have put a striker on to give them a chance.
Well, that's
in
it.
England
You've got to
shirt.
decide who's going to be your striker going forward now. Is it Watkins? Is it Tony?
Or is it another?
Or another that we've not even seen break through yet, because obviously you can break through at 16.
Yeah, of course you can, yeah. Look at Walcott, as much as he took him and didn't bother trying him when Rooney got injured and should have done. Like,
Yeah.
you've got a striker that's gone down, put a striker on. Don't get me wrong, I don't think you should have taken Walcott to that World Cup. That's fine. I think taking him on Arsene Wenger say-so was ridiculous. And Trevor Sinclair had a great season that season. And I think Sinclair should have gone instead of Theo Walcott. But there you go, that's just by the by, isn't it? But I think Kane's finished. I think
Grealish should have been there. I think Grealish would have made a huge difference in some of them games.
100%.
As much as we said we didn't want him to go before,
Because he hardly played any game.
But
Yeah,
when
we
he
didn't
played the
realise
friendlies-
we didn't realise he wasn't going to play left winger.
yeah,
So we were saying don't take Grealish when we thought another left winger was going, or when we thought Gordon was going to be stuck on the left. Well, okay, at least he's a left-sided player,
yeah.
and it makes sense because Gordon's a decent player. Like, I'd have accepted that. Foden, I mean, is he a great player? Yes, when he's in the centre,
Yeah.
and he's like when he changed it and put Bellingham and Foden in the centre. Foden made Bellingham look like he wasn't there.
Because the thing was, he should have taken Grealish, and he should have left Adam Wharton at home, because he wasn't going to play him, because he'd never played him any minutes.
No,
Where Grealish would have played, 100%.
not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in my mind. Not only would he have played, but he'd have played a lot. And do you agree with that assessment, that when Foden was put in the middle, he made Bellingham look like he wasn't on the pitch?
I think Bellingham didn't disappear as such, because earlier you said about Mbappe running that final. Until he scored that wonder goal in the 70th minute, I forgot he was even on the fucking pitch. That's how little he was doing. I forgot he was even there.
I thought he'd put
So when he
a
scored,
lot
I
of
went,
work in.
oh shit, he's actually still on. Whereas I think Bellingham sort of dropped, like how we were always saying, play Foden at 10, play Bellingham at 8.
Yeah.
I think Bellingham sort of did drop back a bit, and he became that thankless task player.
See, now, the way I saw it when I was watching it, I saw it as, in my mind, you've got that ideology, haven't you, of big players step up. And when you got Bellingham and Foden in the middle, for me, Foden shone. And Bellingham sort of stood in his shadow a little bit and wasn't the player that... Don't get me wrong, you look at Bellingham... I'm not saying Bellingham isn't an incredible footballer. Not at all. Bellingham's outstanding. And he ran a Real Madrid team at 20, 21.
Yeah.
How many fucking players do that? There's not many.
No.
And he ran that side. And he ran the midfield. But when Foden was there next to him, Foden was the one that shone, not Bellingham.
The thing is, though, you take your Spanish midfielders and you go, who are you going to pay extra attention to? Are you going to pay extra attention to Bellingham or to Foden?
Well, the thing for me, the Spanish are definitely going to go for Bellingham because they've seen more of him.
Yeah.
See, now for me, I'm just going to clip that bit and make it sound like I'm just having a go at Bellingham because of what...
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of people that don't listen to the podcast and only see the shorts. But Bellingham, for me, is a phenomenal talent. But the very fact we're arguing about which world-class player is better says so much about the English side.
So that's where his thankless task goes. Because Bellingham is taking the other players out the game to let somebody else.
I think Bellingham just sort of let Foden shine naturally. I don't think it was an intentional thing because I don't think Southgate's got enough about him to make that intentional. I think that just naturally happened on the pitch. But for me, Foden is a world-class talent. because when he was put in his proper position, he was running the show. Bellingham is a world-class talent.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. Now, maybe this is biased, but I think Declan Rice is world-class. Because he bullied City on both of the times we played City. In fact, all three of them in the Community Shield as well. He bossed it, and he stopped them getting forward, and he got in front of 95% of their attacks were stopped by Declan Rice.
Yeah.
So I think Declan Rice is world-class. You're not telling me that Kyle Walker hasn't been world-class. There's 4 in one team, 4 world-class players, and we've won nothing. How can you have 4 world-class players in one team and win nothing?
I mean, the thing is, Kyle Walker didn't have his best.
How many players in the Arsenal team right now
Euros.
are world-class? Be honest.
How many are world-class?
How many are world-class in the Arsenal team?
In the
right
Arsenal team.
Now, I've just said I think Declan Rice is in his position. I think he's world-class. I think he's superb. Gets in the way of everything, breaks everything up. That's 1.
I think 1, but it isn't Declan Rice.
Odegaard?
Nope.
It's not Saka, surely.
Nope.
So who do you think's world-class?
Saliba. I think when we talk about world teams, if I had to pick a centre back,
okay, I would go for that.
so I think he definitely fits into a world 11 centre back slot.
I would
say
go for that. How many have City got? Now let's go back 2 years because that's when they were on top of the game. How many?
Okay,
so you've got to go De Bruyne.
De Bruyne, absolutely.
I've got 3.
Ruben Diaz.
Ruben Diaz is another one. Kyle Walker, we've just said Kyle Walker's world class. Edison's probably borderline world class as a goalkeeper. Who else?
Well, if we're going back in time,
A couple of years.
Aguero.
Yeah.
What did
You know
they,
what
what
I'm
did
not
they
putting
win?
And Rodri.
Right, there's
Rodri.
5.
And Rodri.
So that's only 1 more than England. Yeah? How many trophies did they win during that spell? 20?
Yeah.
22? England have got 1 less world-class player and they've done nothing. They've beaten teams. They've basically beaten the bottom half of the Premier League. Anybody in the top half of the Premier League, England have been beaten by. Or gone out on penalties.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing when you've got 4 world-class players. It's embarrassing.
And you're probably talking that we're saying world class, and then you've got people that are potentially going to be world class that are really, really good.
You've
like
got them
Saka.
knocking on the door, like Saka. Grealish on his day, like a couple of years ago, you'd have said Grealish was getting there because he was bossing it for City. Okay, he'd got De Bruyne next to him and he got Rodri next to him, but he was still doing it. He was still doing the business.
Yeah.
Right? Got Harry Maguire. No, I was only joking. But you've got them players that are then backing them up.
Yeah.
And they're right behind him. Now, for me, Gahey was fantastic during the Euros.
He was fantastic.
I'm not saying he's world class, but he was fantastic.
But then Konsa
he was
was
so
superb.
solid. Konsa.
And I'm going
would
into...
you or would you not have played Stones in that last game?
No.
Because I would, but I'd have done it differently. Now, for me, against Spain, I'd have dropped Mainu and I'd have put Stones there. And I'd have had Gahey and Konsa as the 2 centre-backs. Yeah. Because Stones, for me, is a very underrated defensive midfielder. And you know he's going to be more defensive than he is midfielder. And that just tells Rice, go and join Bellingham and Foden. Jesus Christ. Are you telling me that wouldn't have worked?
Absolutely.
Use your head. Because
Rice plays more attacking for Arsenal.
Of course he does. And if you've got Stones behind him, who is actually a centre-back, he knows that he's thinking more defensively.
Yeah.
So it gives him the free... But no, he's going to play Mainu. And Mainu is a great player, don't get me wrong. He's a great young player.
I think he's attacking-minded.
But he's far too attacking-minded for me to be playing in a DM role for England.
Yeah.
When you could play John Stones there, who is, for me, a great, great defensive midfielder.
So, thing that I take from it, so we've already said Harry Kane, no more for England. I think Kyle Walker is no more for England as well.
Isn't he like 35 now or something? Knocking on the door, isn't he? He's going to be...
Yeah.
He did show it a little bit.
He did. And like I say, 2 years ago, I went back and he was world class.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is starting to show.
So for me, I'm like thinking, if we're going to win a World Cup now, we need to get our defensive pair sorted.
We've already got it as far as I'm concerned.
Gahey and Konsa now.
100%.
And you've got to play them for the entire Nations League, qualify and get them.
Who's your left back?
It's still Luke Shaw at the moment.
Not for me.
If he stays fit, it's Luke Shaw.
Not for me, because he's never going to stay fit. You know he's not. For me, it's got to be Mitchell. Got to be Mitchell. You're telling me with another 2 years in the Premier League, he's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
Who was you right, Bappy? Would you
As
go
daft as it sounds, might be somebody like Conor Bradley.
Do you know who I think it's going to be?
Or Ben White.
Ben White.
Yeah, because Ben White's back
because
now.
Southgate's off and his back staff have off.
Yeah.
I think Ben White's going to step up. And to be honest, I would love to see Ben White in an England shirt. Because if you've got Ben White and Saka on the right, you know they play together. You know they're both quality footballers. And you know Ben White is going to piss some people off on the pitch. You know he is.
So who's now your left winger?
Left winger? Probably Gordon. But I think he should be played.
But he's got to be played now.
Yeah. 100%. They've got to put him on the pitch. Got to be.
And you know what? And that leaves Bellingham, Foden or Palmer. One of them's going to the bench.
Still Palmer for me. I would play Foden and Bellingham as the two.
Because he has such a big impact coming on.
He has amazing impact coming on, and Bellingham and Foden are world class.
Yeah.
Palmer's not. I mean, he's not far off. He's knocking on the door again. I don't think he's far off being considered world class. But he's not quite. But he's a very, very, very good player. Very, very good player.
Or do you play without a striker? So to speak, and you stick Bellingham up top.
Oh, I just don't think that would work. When you've got Tony and Watkins.
It's kind of one of them, isn't it? It's like, how
for me,
do you get them all
Watkins
in?
has got to be the striker for me. Because Watkins is an out-and-out striker.
We need
I
time to shine
against
now.
them good teams, Spain, France, Germany, I would lose a player. And I'd just say to Watkins, do not come any further than the halfway line.
Like I said to you, Southgate was higher up the pitch than Harry Kane.
It's just crazy.
And Southgate was in his own half.
It's crazy.
On the sidelines.
That
And he was
happen.
the furthest man up. Now, and I just thought that was comical.
It's ridiculous. I can only think, like, when me and Tin Ribs played, okay, different levels, I get that, but when me and Tin Ribs played, I can think of maybe 3 occasions in the 5 years we played together where I was closer to you than the halfway line. There was probably...
When?
I remember coming and closing the front post on 3 corners. I literally can't remember any other point. Oh no, I had one game where we were winning like 8-0 and Vinny begged me to go up front, so I switched with him and I played centre-back for about the last 20 minutes. It was absolutely hammering.
Do you know when I'd accept the striker in the defending? When you're going into the last 2 minutes of a game, they're on the attack and you're winning the game by a single goal.
I would accept that as well. Not in the 12th minute.
No.
When you've not even tried to set up an attack yet.
Absolutely
and
not.
when your defence are getting the ball, they're booting the ball up to your striker who stood on the edge of your area. Just not good enough for me. I'd play Watkins and I would tell him under punishment of death, you do not come any closer than the halfway line. When we are defending, you stand on that halfway line and you force their defence to stand with you. Because, are you telling me if Watkins stood on the halfway line, you would have France, Spain, Germany, their defence would go another 10 yards into our area, knowing one ball over the top and he's gone. You're pulling their entire team back just by keeping one person stood on the halfway line. Their whole team has to come back a few steps.
Here we go, we missed one position as well. Are you planning on Pickford for the World Cup? Or are we going back to Nick Pope, who potentially could be coming in?
I say no straight away.
I'm keeping with Pickford for now until
wrong,
I'm
I said
staying
no
with
very
Pickford.
quickly then, but I don't think he did a lot wrong.
I'm keeping Pickford until somebody else comes along and says, I'm better than Pickford.
So the way I looked at it was I was wrong when I said I thought Pickford's accuracy would be better than Ramsdale. Okay, we had to go back 2 years because obviously that was the only time we could compare them. But it does seem that Ramsdale is more accurate with his passing. He's a better player of the ball. However, if we're going on what he's done, what he's doing and where he's at, to just drop him He hasn't done anything wrong, like you said.
Yeah.
You can't really look at much and go, he did this wrong, he did this wrong, he did this wrong. He didn't. He's not done much wrong at all. Nick Pope's spent the entire season injured.
Yeah.
We know a lot of players don't come back from a long-term injury anywhere near the standard they
Van
used to be.
Dijk.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if we sat here now and wanted to, we could probably pick about 25 players.
I just wanted to bully the Liverpool player.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So he's been out for a long time. He hasn't played.
We don't know what he's going to come back as.
Exactly. You might find that Dubravka's going to be their number one choice for the whole season because he's just not cutting the mustard.
So all the Arsenal fans
And
are worried about Timber, you know, when he
they're
came back
looking-
from his cruise ship.
They're looking
Absolutely.
at new keeper as well, aren't they?
They are.
Newcastle. You hear rumours that they're going to
Do
sign
you know what
somebody.
bugged me, though? Is Timber came back in that reserve game, didn't he? Scored a screamer from 30 yards out. Like, quality goal. And then we've gone and bought that left-back,
Yeah.
that Ricardo Calfiori.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, you still won't. You'll see him in an Arsenal shirt, and he just looks like a cauliflower head. I don't understand why we bought a left back when we've got so many good players down there, and we need a striker. It's ridiculous. But we've gone on a bit in this first half, whinging about England. But it needed doing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go to break, and then when we come back for the second half, we're not going to talk about England. We're going to start talking about our teams, the Premier League, and that there's something below the Premier League. What's that?
League One.
League One. We're going to start talking about League One as well. So we shall see you lovely people after the break. Hello and welcome back from the break. We've had quite a bit of a chat there.
Yep.
To be honest, we've been quite a while. Right, I want to go into some of our teams' transfer goings and what we're expecting of the season and how we think it's going to go. I didn't get involved last week because the only real thing that we'd got was the Ricardo Calfiori to Arsenal as a left back, which was possible. Now it's, I believe, 95% complete is what we're hearing.
Yeah.
But I have got some other news about Arsenal transfers.
I have one of Arsenal transfer which you may have seen, you may
Smith
not
Rowe?
have seen. No.
Chibo, Obi, the youngster,
Yeah.
Manu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to piss you off, isn't
Chibi
it?
Obi is probably going to Manu. Now, for me, like I've even said it on this podcast, towards the end of last season, I was saying you need to promote him to at the very least have him training with the first team, because if you don't, you're going to lose him.
Yeah.
And I said that last year. And you both said to me I was mental for wanting him promoted. I would have even put him on the pitch.
I
I'd have
didn't
even
say you
given
were
him.
mental. I said he should be involved.
I would
in
have
the
given him
match
10
day.
minutes here or there on
Yeah.
the pitch without question.
But
Certainly in January, when we're
Yeah.
like 5-0 up and 6-0 up, and there's 20
perfect
minutes left.
timing.
Stick him on for 20 minutes. That game could have been 0 because like they'd give up and he wants to make a mark. He could have come on and scored 3 or 4 goals in that game.
Yeah.
And now we're at risk of losing him to Man United again.
That's because
The same way we did
he's
with
turned
Sanchez and
down
Van
your
Persie.
contracts, Ante. He's turned down multiple
Yeah.
contract attempts.
Yeah.
So it looks like he is gone.
So it looks like Chibi Obi, who is our record goal scorer in our youth setup, is going to go to Man United. Nketiah to Marseille.
Yeah.
Which brings me wonderfully onto a conversation we had last week,
Oh, yeah.
which I remember talking to you boys about Mason
Well, it didn't
Greenwood.
work, did it? Because he signed... He says that he doesn't want to talk about...
The mayor of Marseille
Yeah.
came out and said how disgusted he was that a player like Mason Greenwood was linked with his fair city. And what happened?
They signed him.
They s-
Good on him. Good on him.
they signed him.
And I liked his interview. He just said, look, I just want to talk about the football when it's on that. The stuff that's going on with my family, I've made this move for my family. Everything like that will be talked about with my family behind closed doors. I'm more than happy to talk about football.
The thing for me is...
So literally, he's gone to Marseille to play football, and his personal life he wants to keep separate.
The thing for me is he's a very good footballer. Like him or loathe him for what he's done and what you've seen and what you've heard, he is innocent in the eyes of the law. Let him get on with it. And that's all I
If
can
he
say.
scores 10 goals before Christmas, the fans will soon be
They will.
supporting him.
They will, of course they will.
Like
course they will.
Getafe. They loved him in
Yeah,
the
they did.
end. They embraced it
because
and took it.
he is a quality footballer. There's no two
Yeah.
ways about it. Mason Greenwood's a quality footballer, and he was starting to pull up trees at Man United before all that shit kicked off.
And you didn't see that much trouble, really, that followed him about. I mean, Bellingham obviously made his comment. But apart from that, you didn't really hear a lot else about it. Apart from he was having a good season over there.
Yeah, I think, like I say, he is a great footballer, and Marseille have got him. It looks like they're going to get Nketiah as well. So Mason Greenwood and Nketiah up front. I don't think it'd be a bad forward line for the French league, to be honest. I think they'll both do quite well over there. We know Greenwood's going to do well over there.
I mean, what happens if Greenwood hits in 20, 30 goals in the season?
They're going to love him then, aren't they? They're going to have to give him the golden boot anyway, aren't they?
I'm more concerned about the other side of things. Does he get call up or them days done?
I don't think anyone would look at him for an England call up, to be honest. I don't think he will ever get looked at for an England call up, no matter who's in charge.
Or how well he does.
Yeah, I don't think he might. He could score 50 goals, and I don't think he would get the call up.
Probably not.
Just because the FA would put the foot down and just go, no, you're not doing it. As far as they're concerned, he's bloody French. It really doesn't matter to them. They don't care. They just don't want him in the England setup. Another one, which I am gutted about. Right, there's two that could happen. Right,
Record sale, isn't it?
Arteta is on about giving Fabio Vieira more game time. I think, as with Raya, it is a mistake. I think Fabio Vieira should be sold and Smith Rowe should be given more game time. However, Vieira is going to be given the game time, and Smith Rowe, who we've already rejected 2 offers from, is potentially going to go to either West Ham or Fulham or Villa, because all 3 of them apparently are interested in him. And I'm not surprised, because he is quality.
Captain your pre-season game as well.
I think it's a massive mistake letting Smith Rowe go. I'll be gutted if Smith Rowe goes. Yeah, if they sold Vieira, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't think Vieira's that good. I think he's all right. As a sub coming on for 10-15 minutes at the end of a game that you win in, I think he's okay.
Well, there's a reason why people are bidding for Smith Rowe and not Vieira. I told you everything you need to know about the transfer.
Do you know what I am surprised about? No bids for Ramsdale. None. Not one. Not one bid for Aaron Ramsdale.
I know that there's links in the paper that we want him on a loan deal.
That'll be a loan thing.
Which I'd be absolutely over the moon about.
I'll bet you would. I'll be over the moon if he was not Arsenal's number 1. But yeah, so we're on about Ramsdale going out on loan, Nketiah to Marseille, Chibi-Obi, which I'm really annoyed about, going to Man United, and Smith Rowe to potentially Fulham, West Ham or Aston Villa, depending on who go in for it. So that is my Arsenal transfer news.
Yeah.
Do you have any transfer news involving your beloved Saints?
I do. The exciting one.
Give us the goss.
Now, obviously, last week I talked about how I was looking forward to a kit launch and stuff, and it was frustrating that we're not. So, obviously, they put on a big event, Puma and Saints being linked, so they put on an event. So, it came up on my app, watched the Puma event. So, I did. I was watching it. It was really annoying at the start because you just had pretty much no sound, just people having drinks around.
Yeah.
From like 7:30 till 8 o'clock, basically. Yes, I was watching.
Wow.
Waiting until the lovely Kenzie Benali came on and started speaking. And then the players come out wearing the new kits. They went, that's not all the players. And then they showed some more. And then they went, oh, we've got one more. It's our latest new signing, Flynn Downs, who was massive.
You really wanted him to sign, didn't you?
Well, I said last year, don't fall in love with loan players. Don't fall in love with loan players.
And he was the one that he was the first name out your mouth as well.
Yeah. So to actually sign him on a permanent deal, it looks like he's left West Ham with under good terms as well, because West Ham fans have wished him nothing but the best, because he's just surplus to requirements for them, where he'll be a starter for us. So he is a West Ham fan, so obviously that's what made things tricky, because he obviously wants to play for them if he had the opportunity to. But no, we've signed him now, which is the midfielder that we needed. It doesn't sound like we're completely done on all fronts. Our youngster that I liked, the England under-20s player, Rodriguez, looks like he rejected our contracts, another young player, and looks like he's going to Lyon, which actually doesn't annoy me as much. It'd annoy me if he went to another Premier League team, because I was like, so him actually going over there is kind of like, oh, okay, at least he's not with a rival, so to speak. But
makes sense.
Hopefully he'll come good. But other than that, nothing really that solid now. Whether or not Ryan Fraser's another one that may or may not sign.
I think he probably will.
I
think you'll probably end up getting him.
But there's no real strong talks now, obviously. Played a pre-season friendly, beat Eastleigh 7-1. I like the fact that Russell Martin doesn't care about how many he scored. He's more pissed off the fact that we conceded off a set piece.
Yeah, I can understand that being a bit frustrating.
Which is good. I think it's good to get minutes out there. Some players, obviously, they're off to Spain now for their training camp and a couple of friendlies. Not long till the season starts, so hopefully we get it in early. But I do like the fact that we've done a lot of transfer business. We've signed 7 players at the beginning of a window rather than
like
when
really
the season starts.
You look like you're
we
really
got
going
to
for it.
because we were so poor the year we went down. So he has got to change, and obviously the season in the Championship wasn't the best. We only just got there, last game of the season via the playoffs. So
one goal at the end, some terrible defending and goalkeeping. It's like, oh hello.
So
you're paying attention.
Of course.
So I know we're going to go on to Leeds transfer business, because we know that they've done some stuff. We've sold some players, but one thing I liked is the fact that obviously they've been took over by Red Bull. Now, conspiracy theory going on here. They're selling a lot of players to Real Betis. Funny that. RB. Is that dodgy, like profit and sustainability? Selling players to is that the Red Bull secret club RB? Real Betis. I just thought I'd start as speculation. I know it's not true, but I thought somebody starts these things, so I've started one now.
No, so Rasmus Christensen has decided that he really does not want to play for Leeds. So Leeds even had a stab at him. The official post on Facebook was he has decided to join Eindhoven on the loan.
I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah. And it's just like, that just says everything you know about the bloke.
Is this one of these on loan, but it's like, just leave permanently?
Well, they've entered into a option to buy for 15 million.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll take that up, because
you don't want him now.
2 of the players that have come back from their loan stints seem like they might be staying. Though Aronson, I'm not sure if he's trying to get a move. And Wober, well, we don't know about him, but at the moment we've got Wober and Aronson back. But the good news is we've just signed a player who I really wanted us to sign, and I've been saying it for a few days, but when it finally went through, it just felt so good. We've got Jayden Bogle from Sheffield United, and it's really upset Chris Wilder.
Is he a footballer? Is he? I don't know. He's all about
Yeah, that pinged up on my phone this morning. I thought, Tin will be happy.
Oh yes, I
later.
thought that when I saw it as
But
well.
it's a double win. It's a double win.
We've been talking about him for a while.
We've got an absolutely fantastic right wing back, because he's so good going forward. He's a good set piece taker, which we've needed for ages, and he's good at scoring goals. But it's really pissed Chris Wilder off, which just makes it twice as good. And I actually have a quote. So, in an interview, they were asking Chris Wilder about his opinion on having to sell. And if you just bear with me 2 seconds, this is great. In an ideal world, you don't want players to run their contracts down, but I can't force them. I can't put a gun to his head and a pen in his hand and make him sign a contract to stay at Sheffield United. So obviously with a year left,
I mean, when you look at the performances that Sheffield United put out last season,
Yeah.
is he that surprised that players want to leave?
Especially
I don't mean to kick Sheffield when they're down, but they were beyond awful last season. I mean, they brought a whole new level to awful last season.
Yeah.
So is it really that surprising that players don't want to stay there?
Mm.
I get that he's annoyed. Like, I get annoyed when Arsenal just let players go for free, and they do it all the time. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at least Arsenal are sort of top half of the Premier League. Like, they just got smashed every week.
I mean, I know that Leeds sold a player this week, which surprised me a bit on the outside because I don't know a lot about him, because obviously he played 40 games for him last season in the Championship and was quite big in the middle, wasn't he, in Glenn Kamara.
Yeah.
That surprised me as him kind of leaving.
So there was obviously interest, and I won't lie, he was okay for us. But what we require is someone who goes forward, and Kamara's a crab. He just goes side to side. And the problem was, you had him and Gruev, but the pair of them just went sideways, and you need one to go one way or the other. And I thought it was going to be Gruev that went, because there was a lot of links at the start of the season. I think it was Leverkusen wanted him, and like all these clubs wanted him. That's died off, but I honestly thought he was gone. And then Kamara's the one that's brought up. He did an okay job, but 1 year, I ain't that bothered.
No. He's left in a bad way, hasn't he, as well? Didn't he go on about, I've left because Leeds lack ambition and all that? So that's kind of one of them where he's played for him, because we've had it in the past where players do that to you, and you just don't want that, because you think, fine, glad you're gone now, kind of thing. If you just kind of
you then
insulting.
have no respect for the players that have been there, though, do you?
Because
Don't
I'd
even
say
talk about
one
it like
thing
that.
for sure, I wouldn't say that Leeds lack ambition in any shape or form. I'd say they're probably one of the most ambitious clubs that are out there.
Do you think Leeds fans, apart from that, Bellum, do you think Leeds fans would allow Leeds to not be ambitious?
Absolutely not.
They are loud and proud, and you know when a Leeds fan is in that stadium. Like, they're loud. They make their feelings known. Like, if they did lack ambition in any way, you'd know about it. Because it would be ringing around Ellen Road every time the TV cameras were up there. They'd make a point of singing it and shouting it and making everybody know it. Leeds are not allowed to lack ambition. The fans wouldn't allow it.
They've got Red Bull, one of the biggest brands in sport.
Massive.
They want to succeed.
Massive. I mean, how many football teams have taken over? They're kicking ass in Formula One. They really want to be top dogs now.
Extreme Sports, they are the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing more extreme than trying
I was
to
going to
get Leeds
say, I
in the
just
Premier
watched
League
a
either. I mean,
guy
that is
jump off a
tough.
building in, I think it was in Dubai or something. He just kind of slid across the swimming pool, jumped off, free fell down, and then opened up his parachute, which was like Red Bull.
Yeah.
Wasn't the guy who
thing.
jumped from space, like the
was
highest
Red
you could
Bull.
be?
Yeah.
That was Red Bull.
Yeah.
You've got those.
He landed and went, I'd still rather do that than try and take Leeds up to the Premier League. Piece of piss in comparison, though. I was
But you've
jumping
got
from
them.
space.
They're the leads in that aeroplane stunt racing thing where they do the hoops.
Yeah.
and
That's the Red Bull Air Race, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, mate, that is insane.
I mean, they sponsor so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you could sponsor us. I mean, we need to sponsor. Jesus Christ, Red Bull. We're extremely shit, so we are extreme. Do you know?
Yeah.
Come on.
But
Give us a
yeah,
break.
they are one of the biggest ambassadors of any form of sport, really.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah.
Massive.
And
so-
and like I say, they are massively getting into football as well. So I mean, but like I say, Leeds are not going to be allowed to lack ambition.
No.
I mean, they're not Man United. They're not even allowed to repair their stadium.
Yeah.
I'll be
Crazy
careful.
that, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, I think Man United, if they do the right transfer deals, could be stronger.
Well, they've got Zerke, so that's going to help them.
Yeah.
But they need to do a lot more business than that. if
And I
they
mean,
wanna-
they've obviously signed a defender as well that, I'll be honest, I had to Google him.
I'd never heard of him.
I'm with you both on that one. I didn't really know who he was either.
Yeah, so, I mean, from what we've seen, he obviously made the League One Team of the Year. That's the French League
Yeah.
One.
And
League One.
Yeah. On that
So-
note, they're all banging about how he shut Rangers out in a pre-season friendly, and I'm like, it's fucking Rangers, mate.
Yeah, to be fair, I know 13-year-olds that could probably give a good stab at that.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
But if they fix their defence, obviously they've got Mainu coming through and Ahmad and, you know...
I mean, them two, to
they've
be
got,
fair, look decent.
Yeah, they do.
We knew
Mainu
how...
and Ahmad both look decent.
Hoyland looks
Hoyland
decent.
We've
looked
all
decent.
celebrated an Ahmad goal, let's be honest.
So...
Available on
you know, if Luke Shaw
YouTube.
stays fit, he looked good playing for Luke Shaw. But he played
Quality
well.
player. Luke Shaw was really underrated, you know, for a long time, certainly under Mourinho. But then when he plays, he's such a good player. But he's like Jack Wilshere.
Yeah.
Quality player, just made of glass.
I actually think when you start looking at some of the players United have, like Garnacho, all the players previously mentioned, they have the potential to have a very good side, but
Certainly
they do need to clear out so much chaff.
Well, we know that Anthony Martial, he's one of the ones that have gone. It looks like he basically lived off one goal, didn't he? It's like debut goal, which is like they compared him to Thierry Henry, didn't they?
That was a joke, by the way. That was a joke, by the way. Even at the time when he scored it, I'm like, oh, it was quality finish. That was a great goal. And they go, oh, it was Thierry Henry-esque. I'm like, hang on a minute. Give him a couple of years before we start bringing the King's name into it.
I mean, he
Let's
said
not be
that
going
about
crazy.
Makeda as well, didn't they? When he scored a goal against Villa.
To be fair, he looked amazing when he was playing. He played about 3 or 4 games where he looked unplayable. And then all of a sudden he just disappeared.
I don't even know where he is now.
No, I don't. But then we had one. I can't remember his fucking name. Oh, Carlos Vela. Looked absolutely superb, and then I think he fucked off.
Plays for LAFC, yeah.
Yeah, he disappeared to America, but he was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, just United potentially could be quite good. I don't think they're going to trouble the top 3.
Yeah, I mean,
they may squeeze into the top 4 if they're lucky. If somebody else had a bad season, like if Chelsea have another stinker, or if Tottenham have a stinker. But then Tottenham are doing their business nice and early as well. They've snapped up the other fucking player quick enough.
Yeah. And they're playing him at centre back.
Yeah,
they played him at centre back.
Yeah.
That goes to show the level of depth that Spurs have got in the squad. They've signed the best young defensive midfielder and played him as a centre back. Oh, you're just going to ruin him, aren't you? You've bought him to ruin him. Because I wanted him at Arsenal.
They did the same with Jack Clark.
Oh, honestly, just
17 million. Thank you.
Are Tottenham even a football team? Like, I mean, are they?
They are a club that you go to just dwindle.
Now
exist.
Now there is talk, obviously, that Ivan Toney is gonna go, and Brentford are now panicking a bit. Brentford are panicking now
because they can't sell him.
Yeah, because they've bought Thiago for a record club fee, who looks a tidy player for them. And I think they're relying a lot on him being sold for good money. Now, people don't want to pay that much money for him, obviously. And they've said they've ruled out Arsenal anyway, because Arsenal aren't looking for a striker.
That's one of the biggest jokes that I've heard.
And then they say that likely destinations, potentially Tottenham is a potential, but
I can tell you now, Arsenal are definitely looking for a striker.
They're relying on letting go Richarlison, I think, to enable that deal, because we think that Tony fits in with Ange's Premier League model. And I mean, on the TalkSport, they were talking about the fact that if they made that deal, Tottenham could become a top 3 force, which I think is a bit ambitious from where they have been to where they're going to end up. Because at the moment they look a long way off. But again, I think you're going into the new season, it looks like City are going to be favourites again, unless they're going to face punishment.
I was just about to say to both of you, name me who is going to win the Premier League next season. right now, before even all the signings are done.
See, if the rumours are true that Arsenal are preparing a bid for Ollie Watkins, I'd be tempted.
We're not looking for a striker.
That's not what a lot of the rumour mills say.
Everyone around the Arsenal camp that I've been following, listening to, in touch with, Arteta's got no intention of going for a striker at any point.
Yeah.
I mean, if we do put a bid in for Watkins, you know full well it would get my full backing, because I would love to see Watkins in an Arsenal shirt. He's an Arsenal fan, for fuck's sake. Get the guy in an Arsenal shirt. Like, he's just proved he can do it under pressure. So get him in. So, right, Premier League. Jim.
At the moment, it's probably City if they're not going to face a points deduction.
City. Tin Ribs.
City.
I'm going to follow my beloved Arsenal, and I'm going to say that we're going to win the league next season.
I genuinely think you need a striker.
I do. But, still. Championship. I honestly am going to go with Leeds to win it next season.
Leeds.
To win it outright.
Leeds
Jim,
win
let's
it
go with
outright.
Leeds. Now, I know you are the most pessimistic fucker I've ever met in my life. So, which team that isn't Leeds is going to win the championship next season?
No, I think we will.
Holy shit.
He said that last season.
Yeah.
You know, we're recording it this time, right?
We recorded it last season when he said Leeds were going to win it.
So we all think Leeds are going to win the championship. Right, National League South. No, I'm only joking. I don't know who's in the National League South. Right, so I do think Arsenal are going to push City a bit further this season.
I think so too.
I think our defence are that little bit stronger, because I think Timber's going to play a little bit more often, and I do think he's superior to Kivior. Far superior to Zinchenko, who I hope we sell. Jesus, I hope, goes. Nelson can go. I'm a bit gutted to see him go, because I like him as a guy, but as a footballer, I just don't think we're going to win the league with him. So Nelson to go, Zinchenko, Jesus, Nketiah. For me, Fabio Vieira could go. I don't think he really offers us a great deal.
I think the thing that will take you the next level is you need a bench that's going to impact a game. Now, last season, I said it multiple times, when you look at Arsenal's bench, it does not inspire. It's going to make a big difference.
What, Reece Nelson and Fabio Vieira?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no game changers.
Yeah.
You don't see game changers
one,
there?
Trossard. Trossard is a game changer. He is a game changer.
But for me, he's not.
He's a
He's
starter.
not a bencher. He's a starter.
You know, Man City are
I'd swap him
bringing
for Martinelli. Martinelli's
Definitely.
Martinelli's a game changer.
Martinelli, under Arteta, became the worst one-trick pony I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But this is what people are saying online. Arteta's such a great coach, and Arteta this, Arteta that. I'm like, Saka, I think, is getting better just because Saka is a phenomenal talent. Jesus got worse under Arteta. Zinchenko got worse under Arteta. Martinelli's got worse under Arteta. Raya looked like he'd never seen a football before under Arteta. So you name me players that have got better under Arteta because of Arteta.
Raya was actually so good at Brentford.
Potentially, Havertz got better under Arteta. Arguably.
Yeah.
Odegaard was always brilliant. Saka was always brilliant. Martinelli, like I say, worse. Zinchenko, worse. Jesus, worse.
I think Gabriel was better this season.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I think he was better because he'd got Saliba with him.
I was going to say, is this what I call...
I think
Steve Bruce effect.
Saliba is a bit like Rio Ferdinand.
I call it the Lescott effect. Everywhere Lescott has gone, where he's had a good, commanding partner. So let's start at Everton. He had Jagielka. Then he went,
player, by the way,
who's phenomenal.
Jagielka's
so
player.
underrated. Then he went to Man City and he had Company, and Company made him phenomenal. Then he went to Villa and he was the top dog.
Did they get relegated?
He was shit, beyond all shit, because he was never that good. The problem is he was a great sidekick.
Yeah,
and
Gabriel.
And I think that might be Gabriel. I just think Saliba is that good that he props up. Basically, Saliba says, look, dickhead, stand there, mark him,
If Arsenal were to sign a defender, the only defender I think we should be looking at is Gay. I don't think we should be
Would you
looking
not take Konza?
I don't think we'd get anywhere near him because of where he's at.
Okay.
I don't think it would be worthwhile bidding for him.
I'm actually surprised Gay's still at Crystal
But
Palace.
I don't think we should be looking at this Ricardo.
I think that Gay was obviously a good player at Palace, where people are thinking, yeah, he's a good player, but this Euros has took him to another level.
But that's what I mean.
now.
I'm amazed no one's gone in for him.
They might be behind closed doors, and we might just not be hearing
He's been
it.
at the Euros. That's the
There-
thing.
there
He's been
could-
at the Euros.
There
He's
could
on
be
holiday.
faxes sat on their desk. I can't believe football teams are still using fax, by the way. That's an absolute travesty in this day and age that we're still relying on fax. Like, email, hello. It's only been around for 20 odd years. But no, we'll still fax it over. I think there's faxes sat on Villa's desk. And they're just, it's one of them, and it's like The Office, where they're sat there going and just sort of brushing it to the side.
I take you
Nobody's
Palace
bidding
desk.
for Gate. Yes, of course, that's what I meant. Sorry. And
If they're gone to Villa's desk, that's probably why they're going that way.
Definitely going nowhere then. Yeah, sorry, Crystal Palace's desk, and they're just sort of brushing it aside. Go, nobody's bidding. It's fine. We can carry on with our day.
I just think it's amazing. No one's inquired, made that approach.
I reckon they have.
I
reckon there's a lot of teams that have.
I think
and
Palace
they
are
just go
probably thankful that Eze didn't play many minutes to just
Again, he didn't look
get
out of
more.
place when he come on.
He looked great.
No.
But he only got a few minutes, which is shocking when you think how badly Kane played and how badly Foden played on the left. No, I've just been through the fact that I think he's world class, but he did play badly on the left because he's not a left-sided midfielder. But
Palace right now are a team that could be competing in the top half of the table, but
we have Matt Green, by the way.
Yeah,
but if Palace sell Gay, they sell Eze, they're going to be a team that are going to be looking in the bottom half of the table again.
yeah. I think,
And that's the trouble with teams.
You say that, but
like,
you don't know who they're going to bring in because look at how many times have we looked at Brighton and gone, oh, if Trossard leaves, they're in trouble. If Ben White leaves, they're in trouble. They just keep replacing them.
McAllister, we're in trouble.
They just keep replacing them.
But they replaced him with no one. And then...
Who the fuck's that Matoma? They've signed Matoma. Who the fuck's that? 6 months later, everyone's going, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Where the did they get him from? He's quality.
Their scouting network is unreal.
Mate, honest, that too I'd sign. Whoever's searching for players at Brighton, sign him.
Looks
he's
like
save you,
Newcastle have just signed a quality one.
Our guy's shit at it. He's shit at it. We need a striker. I found this guy, Ricardo Calfiori. Looks like a cabbage. Great. How many goals did he get? Oh, no, he's a left back. We've got 4 of them. Yeah, but he's really good. We've got 4. We've got 4 left back. 4. Count them 4.
Unfortunately,
We need
he's
a
a
striker.
Google player. He's a Google player. I've not heard of him.
I've not heard of him. I didn't know who he was. I've seen the guy in an Arsenal kit. Do you know what I first thought when I saw it? Thought he was a fan.
Quick one on the Arsenal kit. How excited are you about seeing your team wear a can of Lincoln Africa on the pitch?
Yeah.
That kit's horrendous.
He doesn't like the home kit either.
I don't like the blue on it. Blue has got no place on an Arsenal home shirt.
Do you think
Blue
you'll
and
be
yellow.
buying?
Blue and yellow is Arsenal's away. Red and white is Arsenal's home. End of story. How would you feel if your home kit came out and it was red, white and green splashed on it somewhere?
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
You'd be like, what is that even there for? Why is blue in with red and white? It doesn't make sense. There's no reason for it to be. There's no need
Unless
for it
it's
to be
in
there.
the sponsor, in which that's down to the sponsor.
Fly Emirates.
Yeah.
No, but it's
Then
not.
it-
But say if you were sponsored by
Yeah, but then
Pepsi
it
or
would make
something.
sense. Then it would make sense. As it stands, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
No sense at all.
So you're not a big fan of your kits
It's just a
this year?
contrast colour.
Shite.
Our
The third
kits,
kit, fucking lovely. Our
Is it?
third kit is lovely. Have you not seen it?
No.
Mate, honestly,
Get
it is lovely. I am gonna get Arsenal's
obviously,
kit up.
I love the fact that we've gone back to the red and white stripes. It's a nice kit. People are slaying it, saying it looks boring. It's like red and white strips don't need to look boring.
Right. I am going to show it to the camera.
Oh. He's showing a different kit.
There you go.
That is Arsenal's third kit, and I really, really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. That is.
I love that. That's really nice.
It's kind of got some sort of
what
like.
What happened to that design when they were going on about the away
is it
kit?
like
Why can't that be the away kit?
Is it like it kind of looks like a bit of an 80s retro vibe to it?
It looks like an old-fashioned. It looks like
it's the old Adidas badge.
It looks like they've recoloured one of the old German kits.
Yeah,
but I really like it.
And then obviously Southampton's away kit is yellow. I love yellow kits.
Chelsea's kit, yeah. I mean, I've got to be honest, I like it because at least they've done something different with Chelsea's kit.
Yeah,
I do really like it. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Right, what I'm going to do is you'd have heard me a little while ago, just turning around to Tin Ribs going, is that going to be in green? Now, what I want to mention is we, as a podcast, as everybody knows, because we mentioned it, we're going to wrap it up now because we've been banging on a little while. But just before we wrap it up, we're a podcast, as everybody knows, because we bang on about it quite a lot. We play football every Friday. So what we've done is we've designed football kits, a home and away football kit, sponsored by the podcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the two designs. If you want to send me one with the new green, where I said, is that going to be green?
They're both already in the chat.
Brilliant. So what I want to do is I'm going to put pictures of it up, of the two kits that we've designed, front and back. I mean, unfortunately, the design we've got has got Jim Jam's name and number on the back, so you are going to have to put up with the fact that it says Jim Jam. Are you sure they're in the chat? I can't see the one with the green.
Kit design.
Kit design chat.
Yeah, that's the one I'm in.
Yeah, they're both there, look.
Hasn't got the green swaz.
Oh, you went with the... I can sort that.
Yeah. So what I'll do is, once that's sorted and Tim Rib sends it through, I'm going to post pictures of the two kit designs that we've come up with. I actually think Tin Ribs has pretty much designed both of them with just little bits of input from me and Jim here and there. And
we've seen a lot of kits.
I like that as well.
I really like that.
Yeah.
What we will do is we'll put pictures up and we'll let everyone see it. And if anyone has any interest in buying one, let us know, because we can order one for you. Just get in touch at Sundaypundits@gmail.com. New email address now that we're going with, because it's shorter and snappier than the old one.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with Sundaypundits@gmail.com. I have tagged that in every single short I've put up, and every video I've put up says Sundaypundits@gmail.com. So if you go to youtube.com/Sunday League Pundit Show and you go to any video I've put up recently, it will all have the email address in there. You can message us on YouTube. That's where the short will be. It will also be on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and what's the other one? TikTok. So yeah, get in touch, and if you like the look of the shirt, then you can always get in touch and chase one from us. So thank you very, very much for joining us. We do greatly appreciate it. And if you would like to head over to youtube.com and subscribe to the Sunday League Pundit Show, we would really appreciate it. We would like to start doing some giveaways quite regularly, and obviously the more followers we get, the more subscribers we get, the more comments we get, the more shares we get. If you're listening on audio only, if you want to go and just leave us a nice comment and a nice cheeky 5-star rating, all these things will help us get to a point where we're then at least earning enough to start giving stuff away to you guys, because you guys are the ones that put up with our bullshit, so you deserve at least something. So thank you very much for joining us, and from me, Tin Ribs and Jim Jam, I would like to say goodbye, and we shall see you next week.